Anyway, I'm here to talk about the Institute for Women Policy Research's new report, which looks just like this, and odds are all of you are holding one. So I'll put it back down. So I just want to sort of run through the information and data and arguments that are in the report. So briefly put, the argument of the report is about why it's in the government's interest to provide paid leave. So as Amy was saying and as Rachna was saying, the federal government is in a unique position as far as retirement of employees is concerned. So whereas the entire workforce is aging, but this is particularly true of the federal workforce. The federal workforce is substantially older on average than the private workforce. If you're the kind who likes to look at graphs, you can look at figure 1, which shows that, again, almost 40% of the federal workforce is over age 50, as compared to about 24% of the private workforce. And as Rachna was saying, there's lots of statistics. Within the next year or so, OPM estimates that about a third of federal employees will be eligible for retirement. And they also estimate that in the 10 years between 2006 and 2016, about 600,000 federal workers will have retired in that 10-year span. So the federal workforce is in a troubled position. It needs to recruit heavily, which is made more difficult by the fact that it needs to recruit an educated, skilled workforce. On average, federal workers are more educated and more likely to be professional or management employees than are private sector workers. So this makes their job even harder. There's some interesting studies from the General Accounting Office and the Partnership for Public Service also showing that the federal government has difficulty with recruiting young employees because of the speed or lack thereof of the federal recruiting process. The screening process, applications, etc. take longer than many young employees are willing to wait for. And young employees are also difficult to recruit because they also expect more in terms of work-life flexibility, work-family benefits. So there's a lot of surveys now, new data showing that, including men, younger men and women, are more expectant of getting work-life flexibility from their employers. It's more important to them. They express this. They want this in their jobs. About 2/3 of college students say that they find the opportunity to balance work and family important and attractive in federal employment. So this is an opportunity for the government to, again, sort of nurture this, this perception that it has, as Rachna was saying, as being a top or model employer. So, and by offering paid parental leave, it really will be sort of still in that zone, if you will. As far as private sector benefits go, again, the perception is that the federal government is really leading in terms of benefits, but there's a lot of data that shows that the private sector actually really is competitive with the federal government in terms of sick leave, vacation, and other benefits. And again, as Rachna was saying, there's ample evidence that the federal government is actually behind in this one area. About 70%, something 3/4 of the Fortune 100 offer a specific paid parental benefit, and more of them offer some sort of PTO that can be used as a parental leave benefit. There's also a yearly report from Working Mother magazine that profiles top companies and their flexibility arrangements, their paid parental leave arrangements, and the other sort of steps that they take to recruit workers and make their workplace a good one for mothers and fathers, as I'm sure Vince will tell you. So again, this is a situation where the federal government needs to recruit young workers, but the private sector is doing so perhaps more efficiently or more effectively in some ways than the federal government.